Hi, beautiful people. What is good? What is good? What is good? Crush, you know who I be. Good Doc. Dr. Mike TV back again, once again, reporting live from Suwon City, South Korea. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you guys have been asking me these questions, sending me the emails, sliding in the DMs. Hey, Doc, what are these Korean women like, bro? How are they responding to black men, bro? Like, tell me what's going on. Like, let me know what the deal is with Korean women. Well, I always must preface this video that the good doc is not a single man. So, I've been able to make some serious observations, but at the same time from a distance, right? I can tell you everything that I've seen with my own eyes, and there's a couple of things that I do believe could work in your favor. You know, if you are trying to talk to somebody while in country, you know, if you choose not to use the apps. But first things first, I'm going to tell you, get on these applications and talk to these girls. That's where it's at, right? I'm afraid to say the T word that ends in but they ain't sponsoring me, so I'm not going to say the name. But that's probably one of the more useful applications if you're looking for a young lady to keep you some company. Begins with the letter T, ends in the last syllable of All right, you figure out and fill out the letters in between. I do believe a website like that, application like that, could be ideal for somebody who's looking to find somebody before they get in country. For me, being here for as long as I have so far, I have found that to be probably the best way to go about it, right? It just seems a little bit more easier, right? You're already communicating with somebody, already talking to somebody, so by the time you get here, you have somebody with you, somebody that hopefully you can trust to take you around. And again, I have yet to come across anybody who's tried to finesse, finagle, or scam me in any capacity. Not saying that those people don't exist in said country, but most of the time the people are genuine, right? They're gonna help you, they're gonna help you. And that's what I found out when I was going around and exploring the city a little bit, going to a couple of these landmarks that I wanted to check out and film for you guys, right? If I haven't put those videos out, you will see them soon. But there's nothing like more tangible than just being out there and speaking to people. Me, if I get lost, I have no problem asking for help. You know me, if I'm gonna get lost, I'm gonna try to find the prettiest young thing around to ask help for, right? If I can't, then I'll settle for anybody that's around. But when I was going from bus stop to bus stop, trying to figure out, okay, well, this is my stop, where do I need to get on at? I had no problem saying, hey, show her that Naver app where I was trying to go to, and none of them, without hesitation, said anything. They weren't scared or skittish or trying to jump away from me because I'm black or anything. They were like, hey, I'll help you. You know, hey, go to this bus stop, or it's a couple of kilometers down that way. You make a right, you're already where you're supposed to be at. So I do find, to an extent, most Korean young ladies here extremely approachable, right? They're extremely approachable if you choose to go that route. And there was a trick of the trade that I used to use back in the day, in my more single days back in the Philippines, and I do believe that it is hella applicable here. You see, and I kind of mentioned and touched on it a little bit before, but even if you do know where you're going or you're having trouble finding where you want to go, why don't you, in your infinite wisdom, find the cutest girl you can and just be lost, man? Like, hey, I could really use your help. Can you tell me how to get here? You know, can you walk me to it? During that walk, have a conversation. That shit is kind of easy. It's not that hard because nobody's giving you the, oh my God, there's a black foreigner look. Like, most of the time, nobody even give me no looks at all. I go inside the establishment, they say hi, they're pretty friendly, talking about the people in general. But, you know, you would expect people to have this naysayer, nasty look about you, and the majority of the establishments that I've gone into never had that issue at all. So the fact that the Korean women, in my personal opinion, are extremely approachable, thinking that you should probably head in on those apps, you know, those will probably be the two best things that I could say throughout my experience so far that I think will be beneficial to you guys looking to find you a nice, beautiful young lady here in South Korea. Now, are they as beautiful as they look on the TV? I don't care what nobody says, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get it right. There's a bunch of variety here, right? It fluctuates, right? There's a variety of young ladies, a variety of Korean young ladies. You can have some that are super payat, very thin, the ones that you see on TV with all the makeup. Come to find out that the greater majority of the women here wear makeup the way that they do because leaving the house without it, and I'm quoting somebody, is so much as if like leaving the house without it is somewhat disrespectful. Right? I'm not sure if the disrespect is to yourself or to the people around you, but in hindsight, you'll see makeup on the greater majority of the people here because culturally it is disrespectful to not have it on when you walk out the house. And it kind of reminds me of my grandmother, real quick. I'm just gonna throw that in there. She does not leave the house without, her lipstick and, not even makeup, but just having lipstick on. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was a cultural thing back in the day, but my grandma in her 80s now. But she has the thing about never leaving the house without her lipstick on. It's just like a standard. She will not do it. No matter if she's going up the street, wherever. She's going to be seen, she's going to have that lipstick on, right? So I kind of feel like it's the same thing with most of the Korean young ladies. They're going to be touched up and made up to the nines. Doesn't matter if they're just going down the street, hanging out with friends or whatever, right? So that is culturally why a lot of them wear makeup. And let's be honest, when I say they're not all thin, I mean there's some thick ones here, bro. When I say thick, I'm not necessarily saying proportionately thick, but you know what I mean, right? They come in different shapes and sizes. I mean, that's culturally what you'll find in any other part of the world that you go to, right? You go to the Philippines, you know what you're going to find, right? All different varieties. Some super thin, some more on the thicker side, right? It just depends on how much rice you choose to eat, right? Let's just call it for what it is. How much rice you eat, how much exercise you do. But from that particular aspect, yes. I do believe that, you're going to find women of many different body types. So if you aren't necessarily just looking for one thing, you can definitely find that here, right? Because there's so many different options for you. No different than most, if not all, particular Asian countries that you go to. Japan has to be on my list because I have got to see for myself. But from what I've seen, I have very rarely come across an obese Japanese young lady. And I'm just thinking mentally, that's down the line or anything like that, but I know they do exist. I'm not stupid, but I just gotta see it for myself, right? I gotta go with country. I gotta see that shit with my own eyes because I just don't see it, right? But at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a black man traveling to Korea, I do believe that you are probably gonna have a decent experience. Personally for me, and I'm only speaking for myself, and maybe it's because I have a bias. Let's just call it for what it is. I would still personally choose, in certain aspects, certain aspects only, to deal probably more so with Filipinas than Korean women, right? But again, it's a mixed bag, man. I will never in a million years say, oh man, don't date this type of woman, only date this type of woman. That's not who I am as an individual, because I do believe that there are characteristics, aspects, and things like that that could change your mind tomorrow. And, there are some good qualities about some Korean women that I've seen so far, and that I've heard stories about that are like top notch, that I'm gonna be honest with you, you're not going to find that with all Filipinas, right? And at the top of the list, I already talked about it. I'm gonna leave it at this as soon as this will be the last thing I mention in this video, but most Korean women, and damn near, I'm not gonna say all of them because, you can't really say all of anybody. But from what I've seen, nobody's out here to try to finesse you. Nobody's out here trying to scam you like that. If they want to rock with you, they'll rock with you, right? It's just the way that it is. I'm sure there's probably some ladies of the night that may, ask for a couple of favors or whatnot. But then again, that's kind of what you expect from a young lady that is in certain professions that have them up in the wee hours of the morning and the late evenings at night, right? That's what you expect. But like your everyday, average, normal young lady, that's just not the vibe over here. So I do believe that it is safe to say that they're not out here trying to scam you. Probably as you may find in some other, parts of young ladies in the Philippines. That's just the truth. You don't find that too often here, like at all. Every story I've ever heard, none of them have ever come out and said, oh, my my Korean girl scammed me or some shit out of my money. Not saying that it don't happen. It's just I'm saying that is still those sentiments are few and far between in reference to probably what you would probably hear from every other person who's made a YouTube video about being scammed by a Filipina. Right? I'm sure there's probably a video on YouTube about I got scammed by a Korean girl. I mean, come on now, it's just the way that it is. But few and far between here, right? So I think that does provide, in my personal opinion, equality. And some of these young ladies here that, it's something to look into and, in my personal opinion, look forward to. And honestly, I do see loyalty being one of the major factors in relationships with Korean young ladies that I've seen, other people's relationships and things that I've seen, like I said, through my own lenses and things that I've heard and, stories that I've kind of compilated and just, put together and trying to gather this understanding to help you guys out. Because most of the people I'm hearing this from, they gonna stand on business. Believe that. So they ain't got no reason to lie to me. But at the same time, going back to what I said, they ain't out here trying to finesse and finagle like that. And I do believe that there are a group of fiercely loyal young ladies. Now, I ain't gonna sit there and say they ain't gonna try to slide on the side. There ain't no girls out there having 2 boyfriends. Again, it just depends on the type of young lady you dealing with. But in the general sense, that's what we're talking about. Most of the ladies out here ain't trying to date you and then date another foreigner and then date another foreigner, right? Not like you may see amongst other young ladies in different parts of Asia, right? Talk to you online, but they got 3 or 4 online foreign boyfriends and stuff like that. It's not really something that pops off like that around here. And I do believe to an extent the young ladies here, they stick to their own. That's definitely more common than probably something in the Philippines. You see a lot of Filipinas really trying to date foreigners and stuff like that. A lot of girls here do stick to their own, right? But you're going to find some that are going to definitely be open to being with and or dating and or even carrying a serious relationship with foreign men. And if you want to know the caveat, you would be surprised at how many of them actually don't mind the chocolate, bruh. I know they like the pale skin, the white skin, the whiter the better. I understand that. But for some reason, I still believe this right here is what's in. Don't hate the player. Don't hate the commentary. I'm just telling you from what I see. This is still in, ladies and gentlemen. This here is definitely in. So, I don't see you having any issues finding you a young lady if you choose to get out there and at least talk to somebody. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. You act like it has to be a complete setup for you. It ain't got to be all that. Get your ass here and figure it out. Get on those applications. Start talking. That's literally the easiest thing in the world to do. Get on there and start talking, man. You might be surprised at what you might find out. All right? If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, man, you know how to find me. Description area below, comment section, knock it out, ask me questions. I'll be glad to answer. It's been a good night, man. Y'all take care. Y'all stay blessed, man. Doc is out.